Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and if you're like most people, you just unlocked your legendary drop Pactspirit selection chest here from the login event for this season. You log in 7 days during the event, up through the end of the season. You're gonna get a legendary pick any Pactspirit basically. There are some things that are not on here. Just figure out, we'll do a little quick video to talk about what the best options are. So we basically have the Cube Pet, the City of Aterna Pet, the Nightmare Pet, the Mistville Pet, the Clockwork Pet, and the Rainbow Paint Owl, which is the Canvas Pet. Most of these mechanics are, you should really be familiar with these before you pick which one you want to do. There's only 6 different options, but basically if we want to talk about them real quick here, we can go through them and let's just go look and see what they do. So if we're going to go here to the pets, first off, we're going to start off with Cube. The Cube Pet, basically, once you get to the end of a map, is going to give you a 22% chance to double the items in the cube of rapacity. So it's basically 22% more loot from Cube. If you like farming Cube, this is a pretty decent option, especially because you don't really need to use this up until the cube is popped open for the most part, and so you're not necessarily going to like conflict with your other drop pets with these. The next one here for City of Aterna, this one is extremely powerful. Gives you a 16% chance to increase the number of reward spots on the Aterna map by 1 up to 15 slots. That's pretty much every single time you finish a candle. So the more like little tiles you clear out, the more loot you get. And this is a very, very powerful one. However, if you do not go into the City of Aterna and actively farm this mechanic, this pet does absolutely nothing for you. If you're only in the Nether Realm, this pet doesn't do anything. You probably shouldn't pick it. However, if you're like, I really want to farm City of Aterna and make money that way, this pet is very, very powerful and is a good option. The Nightmare Pet, basically what it will do here is gives you a chance when you're going through the nightmare to pop out the bubbles that you picked already and kind of duplicate them. And this is incredibly powerful if you're farming Nightmare. I don't think Nightmare is really all that good until time mark 8 and above, but it is a very good pet to have. And this thing doesn't conflict all that much with the the other pets you might use for your normal drop stuff, because you'll switch to Nightmare Pet setup for being in the nightmare exactly. This also increases the amount of dream talking drops you get as well, which is pretty much where a lot of the money is now in the mechanic. And so I think that Nightmare Pet is incredibly strong. If you don't have this, pretty good pick. I actually picked this for my very first drop Pactspirit box, I think 2 seasons ago when we got it from Supreme Showdown 20, because I didn't have any of them. And as you can see here, I got very lucky on some of my pulls since then. And now we're where are the purple Pactspirit box picks? Because yeah, kind of missing that guy. Next up, we have Mistville Pet. If you do not run Mistville, you probably don't want to pick this pet, because this pet basically gives you a chance when you're in Mistville to skip kind of the challenge mechanic and get 3 times the loot. It's a 10% chance, and this is very, very powerful if you're running Mistville. But if you don't run Mistville mechanic, this will do nothing for you. You do not want to use this pet in the Nether Realm ever, and so unless you're running Mistville and you enjoy running Mistville, you should not pick this pet. Next up, we have the Doll Alice 1 pet. And what this does is it makes it so that when you are settling the loot at the very end, there's a 25% chance to double the loot. Basically, this means 25% more loot, which is, pretty darn nice. This also doesn't really conflict with other drop spirit packs. You can just run whatever. And then as long as you have this active as you're picking your, ballet thing in the beginning, it will activate for you, which is pretty good. You could also potentially use it during the map for more drops from doll securities and just more drop quantity in general. I think that this pet is pretty decent, except for I think the mechanic has been pretty bad. And the mechanic just doesn't really have any loot to it recently, and maybe it's something that they'll fix. I haven't really tested it too much this season. Last season, people were combining this with the Compass Pet in order to really get a lot of loot. Maybe if you have the Compass Pet and you're looking to do a Compass strategy, this might be a good pick for you. But I would say that this is very much on the lower end for me. Lastly, we have the Frozen Canvas. The Rainbow Paint Owl is extremely strong if you're farming Canvas. This will not do anything for you at all if you're just farming the Nether Realm, This only helps if you're going to canvas mechanic. And basically what it'll do, it'll make it so that 2 to 4 cells from your paints will get doubled. And so that is very, very powerful. And so also basically make it so that you don't have to run those cells. You just get double the loot. And that's very good when you hit rainbows with this, because it's like doubling up your rainbow loot. But this can also hit like your level 1 white nodes, which does kind of suck. So this pet is very, very strong, but not necessarily super crazy. And you don't necessarily get anything for the regular nether realm with this at all. This does also increase the amount of colored snow, the amount of splendor eggs. So very, very strong in the mechanic. But once again, if you're not running it, it's not going to help you. So realistically, if we're looking once again at the box here, if you don't run any of those mechanics, you should probably go and pick either Nightmare Pet or Cube Pet or Alice Pet, because these are the 3 that all, don't have their own separate zones. And you just want to pick one of those, whichever one you enjoy the most. That's pretty much like the end message here is I can't tell you what you're going to enjoy farming. You have to pick for yourself as to what you think is going to be enjoyable. And, if this Cube Pet, Nightmare, or even the Clockwork Pet, that's, up to you at the end of the day. I hope this video helped you out. And if you're not sure which one to pick, there's no rush. You can hold this throughout the entire season until you've like kind of figured out that, hey, I really like running Cube, or Nightmare's been pretty profitable for me, I'm going to pick that. You can just hold off. You don't necessarily need to pick anything right away. We'll see you guys again next time, and come by the stream.